to Season 3 of Case Files, where we dive into our players. In today's episode, we're going to take a closer look at Kyle Pitts, the tight end from the Falcons. But first, if you want to do a huge favor for your boy by hitting that like button, please do so. If you guys hate this type of content, hit that dislike button and we'll hurt your boy's feelings. Well, maybe just a little bit. If you guys like what I do on this channel, then hit that subscribe button. It will help out the empire grow tremendously. So on that note, let's continue with the episode, explain what Kyle Pitts has done this season and what we can expect from him next season. Let's get started. Before we dive into the film coverage, I want to quickly establish a couple key things. First of all, we're going to go over his Week 3 performance against Detroit Lions. Now, roughly he had over 50 snap counts. He was only targeted twice in the red zone. He was targeted 9 times, caught 5 receptions for a grand total of 41 receiving yards and 0 touchdowns. So now let's see how he performs. On this play, the Falcons are doing a bunch formation with motion with the fullback. So that leaves Kyle Pitts, who's going to be on the right outside, going against Jerry Jacobs, number 23. And he does a pretty good job decently to get off his first step into the motion and get that 5-yard advantage down the field grass until he gets towards Jerry, where he wasn't paying attention on what Desmond was doing, but instead getting his full control on what Kyle Pitts was doing when he was going to angle to make a cut. And that's why this play did not work, because the corner did not get tricked and watching the quarterback's eyes instead of looking at what Kyle Pitts was doing. And also, the Detroit Lions defense was pressuring the offense, so that meant Desmond Ridder just had to throw the ball quickly enough before he got settled. But even still, this could have been a touchdown, but so far, not a bad start. So when we look at Kyle Pitts here, he's in the left slot position, and the quarterback is in an empty backfield formation, and Kyle Pitts is going to run a really nice slant route. And this is a pretty basic concept, but even still, I like how Kyle Pitts angled his body where he can cut on a dime for a first down. Fantastic job. So on this play, Desmond Ridder is in an empty formation set, but this time Kyle Pitts is on the right side but in the slot formation, and he does a really good hook route to making sure that he gets wide open space and also come back where the quarterback can see him where he clutched this for a first down. On this Falcons drive, they're set up to do a play action pass, and Kyle Pitts' role is going to be on the right outside to do a out route. But unfortunately, it just doesn't come into fruition because, first of all, Aiden Hutchinson beat his individual matchup, and then Kyle Pitts kind of half-assed when he was releasing for some reason, and then Brian Branch caught up with him and got a tip ball, so it was never going to work anyways. So great play on the Detroit Lions defense, just bad on the offensive side of the ball. This is a critical play for the Detroit Lions defense to stop the Atlanta Falcons offense from trying to get a first down conversion. So they do a blitz concept to scare the quarterback and throwing the ball away. So that leaves Kyle Pitts on the left outside, one-on-one coverage with Cameron Sutton, and he does a go route. But unfortunately, Cameron Sutton does not lose his formation, does not lose his setting, does not get separated, but in fact, he jams Kyle Pitts. Instead of trying to get over the top, he jams into the sideline so he can't break free. And I don't blame Kyle Pitts at all, because sometimes you just have to follow orders, and this time it just was the wrong play calling in my personal opinion. They should have called a timeout and did a different play call. A lot of times in football, plays like these you will see a lot where they're going to try to get some extra yardage. So when they do get into the third down mark, they want to try to get into a first down conversion. So that means Kyle Pitts is in the left slot position and he's going to do a stick route, and he has good angle on the linebacker to get him that easy 5 yards. On this play is going to be a screen pass to Kyle Pitts. So in theory, Kyle Pitts should only have one-on-one matchup with the linebacker. So Bijan Robinson has 32, and then Drake London has number 1 to cover, because Kyle Pitts can easily beat the linebacker with his full speed. But the problem is that Bijan Robinson did not win his individual matchups right out of the gate that make this play negative. Even though it wasn't Kyle Pitts' fault, but when you see the stat lines, you're just going to blame Kyle Pitts for the negative yardage. So finally, we get to see some Kyle Pitts using some mesh concepts. He's on the left slot position, and he does a really nice job getting some extra yardage for an easier second down conversion. So the Falcons are attempting a play action pass, and Kyle Pitts is on the left slot position, but unfortunately the center does not give the quarterback enough time to develop because Aleem McNeil, who has been a fantastic 3 technique for the Detroit Lions defense, just pressured Desmond Ridder, and Kyle Pitts doesn't have enough time to really cut and angle properly to catch his ball. On this mesh concept, Kyle Pitts is set on the left slot position, and he does a pretty good job going underneath, but of course the corner does not bite. He goes towards Kyle Pitts, and he probably could have beat the linebacker Anazzoli pretty easily, but of course Desmond Ridder didn't have enough time in the pocket. He was getting pressured all day long, and you see the results here. In Week 5 win against the Houston Texans, Kyle Pitts had roughly over 40 snap counts. He had 2 red zone targets. He had 11 targets, 7 receptions for a grand total of 87 total receiving yards, 0 touchdowns. So let's just dive into the film to see what happened. On this play, Kyle Pitts does a really great corner route. He's on the left slot position, and he has great field vision, awareness, and get over the 2 linebackers. Of course, Jalen Petrie did not want to deal with this, and he just smacked the crap out of Kyle Pitts. But if Jalen Petrie didn't do that, this would have been a touchdown for sure. This is a really good play by Kyle Pitts when he does his route run with the curl route on the right outside, where he gets wide open coverage, enough room to make the first down and move the chains, and when Eric Murray tackles him. But unfortunately, Jalen Petrie reads Desmond Ridder at all times, did not get confused, and watches where Desmond Ridder is throwing the ball, and so this is why this is a pass deflection, not a conversion. So on this play, Kyle Pitts is going to do a set in motion. He's going to do an out route, and Desmond Ridder sees the Texans are going to do a blitz concept. So he checks, he's going to make sure, maintain everything, and Kyle Pitts is going to have a one-on-one individual against the linebacker, and he beats him handily. And then he also making sure that Petrie did not get, any type of stop or pass deflection or interceptions, and he just has a great awareness around the field. Kyle Pitts is in a tight formation, and he is going to be doing an outside tight end wheel route. Yes, the tight ends can do wheel routes too, but unfortunately, Desmond Ridder did not get enough proper time for Kyle Pitts to adjust, and that's why Blake Chaseman got after him, even though Kyle Pitts hardly ever loses to a linebacker when it comes to catching a ball. So on this play, we're just going to see how Kyle Pitts just does a really natural hook route. Pretty simple, pretty easy, and unfortunately it does not move the chain, but I think their goal was just try to get a field goal attempt. This play shows you why Kyle Pitts is a monster. He's on the left slot position. He does a perfect out route, and he makes sure he does not get jammed by the 2 linebackers in Denzel Perriman and Henry To'oTo'o, and he turns his hips with fantastic ease. But of course, the only person that's stopping him to get more yardage is the safety Jalen Petrie. Here's another example of how Kyle Pitts does a really good job on the hook route. Nice, easy, crisp turnaround very quickly and making sure he gets the first down conversion. Like I always say, consistency is the king, and he does a great hook route on the right outside this time, getting enough separation to catch his ball against Hallman, the tall 6 corner. I do not like this play call for Kyle Pitts. I don't know what Arthur Smith and Desmond Ridder were thinking, giving him an X cross route where Jimmy Ward was right there bearing down the field. It's just a bad play call, and for all that, you could have gave Kyle Pitts way better play calling, like hook routes that he's been beasting and feasting against the Houston Texans defense for some reason, and you didn't give him the opportunity to get a touchdown if you were going to throw to him anyways. On this Falcons drive, they just want to move the chain easier so Younghoe Koo can kick them a field goal, so Kyle Pitts on the left slot position doing a simple flat route. In Week 13 win against the New York Jets, Kyle Pitts had over 40 snap counts, had 0 red zone targets, had 8 targets, caught 4 receptions for a grand total of 51 total receiving yards and 0 touchdowns. Let's go see what happened in the film. So in this formation, Kyle Pitts is in the left slot position. He's going to do an out route, and he beats the linebacker with ease and shows his quick agility until Tommy Adams, the safety, captures him. But even still, I love how Kyle Pitts uses his 2-point stance with ease, then going down the field quickly, adjusts where he needs to do, and then just move the chains easily. Plays do happen like these, unfortunately, where Kyle Pitts just drops the ball. This was a great move for Desmond Ridder to throw it into coverage on this really great hook route that Kyle Pitts did in the left slot position. but unfortunately, he just didn't have full control on it, and he should have. Now, I will say, maybe the rain had to do something with it, but even still, you can't make excuses for that, because everybody else was in the rain, so, but still, nice attempt. Sometimes it just happens to the best of us. This play caught me off guard because of this go route, how, if we look at this in basketball terms, usually the taller guy has the advantage, because Kyle Pitts is 6'6", and his opponent is DJ Reed, who is 5'9", and clearly Kyle Pitts has the advantage, but we see here DJ Reed kind of jams Kyle Pitts by not allowing DJ Reed's formation to get undertangled, because he's going sideways, and then when he sees a perfect opening, he turns to jam Kyle Pitts, where Kyle Pitts can't go forward, but instead goes towards the sidelines. And maybe also Desmond Ridder kind of throws the ball a little bit too early, where Kyle Pitts didn't get a first 5-step in, where this could have been a touchdown or something like that, but still mind-boggling. This is an amazing play by the quarterback Desmond Ridder when it comes to the play action pass, where Kyle Pitts is on the left slot position doing an out route, but the thing is, the fullback did not block very well against the defender, and when the defender beats the fullback, he gets towards Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder does not flinch. He just throws the ball quickly enough where he can see that Kyle Pitts cut on the dime against the safety Ashton Davis. So a lot of times you're going to see defenders who are smaller than Kyle Pitts will have to do everything in their power to either bump him or get him off of his tracks, because they know if they were just going throttle with throttle without any problems, Kyle Pitts will win because he's in a go route. But DJ Reed, got the penalty flag, even though he got interception, but he roughly was, holding Kyle Pitts, and that's what all these defenders who are smaller than Kyle Pitts will eventually have to do. And that's a blessing for Kyle Pitts and the Falcons, because they can use that to their full advantage. So remember in the last clip I said that Kyle Pitts has a full advantage against the smaller guys, where the smaller guys will have to bump him? Well, unfortunately in this case, this is the opposite, where Kyle Pitts is doing a simple inside dig route, but unfortunately he gets called for a flag on this play because he pushed off against the smaller corner. It's not funny, Michael Carter the second, for some reason, and I felt like this was very uncharacteristic with Kyle Pitts, because he usually doesn't need to do that, because he can already use his sides for his advantage anyways. So it really doesn't make sense why Kyle Pitts had to do that. This was an excellent scheme on one-on-one individual matchup against Tony Adams versus Kyle Pitts, where he clearly can see he had a perfect outside route combination when he was on the left slot position, where he was settled in properly, did a nice cut, and still find a way to grab the ball when Tony was draped all over him. And you can see how Tony was so mad at himself for not getting a pass deflection or incompletion. So we have another set in motion play by Kyle Pitts, where he was on the left side, now he's going to the right side to do an outside wheel route. And what's crazy thing is that the Jets defense was going to blitz Desmond Ridder, and Desmond Ridder still find a way to throw the ball to a wide open Kyle Pitts, and for some reason no one was really looking at Kyle Pitts for some reason. So it was wide open. Great job, great field vision by Kyle Pitts, and taking your advantage against the opponent's lack of awareness where you are, to helping your quarterback in tough situational moments like these. So on this play, Kyle Pitts is going to do an outside route going against the small corner and DJ Reed when he's on the left outside. But unfortunately, DJ Reed just seems to read that and just get the advantage by reading Kyle Pitts' movement, even though Kyle Pitts does a good job in angling and cutting. But just for some reason, Kyle Pitts should have caught this ball, and he does for a split second, but DJ Reed just keep fighting like a dog, man. And sometimes you're gonna face a dog, and then you're gonna be a dog. I don't know, did that make sense? Week 17 against the Chicago Bears loss, Kyle Pitts roughly had over 40 snap counts. He had 0 red zone targets, and he was targeted 5 times, only caught 1 reception for 5 yards and 0 touchdowns. So let's see what the hell happened. So on this route, Kyle Pitts is going to be on the left outside doing a go route versus Jaquan Brisker, the strong safety for the Chicago Bears. And he does beat him in the very beginning. He has an extra good step, but then for some reason, he just can't get that extra 5 yards away from him to get this incredible, supposedly, touchdown, if this was a completion. Plus, I don't have another angle where I can't see where Eddie Jackson is lined up, the free safety for the Chicago Bears. On this Falcons drive, Heineke is in a play-action pass formation while Kyle Pitts is on the right outside going to do a in route where he does a really good job getting separation, finding the hole to go to move the chain for a first down conversion. But unfortunately, Heineke throws the ball behind Pitts, and that's just the lack of communication with those two guys, and that happens a lot of times in football. This was actually a really great play call by Arthur Smith when it comes to Kyle Pitts on the right outside going against the corner Josh Blackwell, but unfortunately Heineke just threw it way too quickly, and Tremaine Edmonds almost got this pick. Could have probably been a pick six if he was very lucky, but unfortunately that just happens a lot of times when you don't have a quarterback mesh with Kyle Pitts, and this is the results that can happen. I don't know what type of route run that Kyle Pitts was trying to do. I know he was on the left outside, but unfortunately, the offensive line didn't help Heineke at all, give him enough time to really scope down the field, and you can see the results are like this, where I'm all type of confused on where Kyle Pitts was trying to go. Was he trying to do an out? Was he trying to do a hook? I'm not really too sure, but it doesn't matter because it was an incompletion anyways. This is what I hate to see, is that Kyle Pitts' first catch was a simple hitch route on the left slot position, but it was in the fourth quarter, almost over, and that's just unacceptable. You have to find creative ways to get Kyle Pitts the ball at all costs. So what is the final verdict for Kyle Pitts? Well, that really depends on how Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson, the brand new offensive coordinator, will handle Kyle Pitts, because in the previous regime, the Falcons offensive ran a 12 personnel set. Now, if you guys don't know what that means, it means they have one running back and two tight ends on the field at the same time. So now we're going to assume what he's going to do in his fourth year, because in his rookie year, he did a fantastic job. Had 68 receptions for 1,000 receiving yards. Of course, one touchdown, not the greatest, but he was 20 years old, and remember, he had over 750 total snap counts. That's over like 60 to 70% on the field at all time. Now, in his second season, he only got to play in 10 games because of that terrible leg injury or knee injury that Brisker did against the Chicago Bears, where he only got 28 total receptions for under 400 receiving yards, so really 356, and 2 total touchdowns, and he only had 400 roughly snap counts, so that was below the 50% mark. And then now this previous season, he played in all 17 games at the age of 22, had over 50 plus receptions for a grand total of 667 receiving yards, and then 3 touchdowns. But this time he had over 700 snap counts, so that's roughly over 60% that he was on the field. So that's not that bad. Now, remember, what we really want to know is the red zone targets, because remember, that's what Arthur Smith previously stated last season when he was trying to change this Atlanta Falcons attack. But what really shocked me was back in 2023 season, he was only targeted 7 times in the red zone. So in 2022, he was only targeted 10 times in the red zone. And his rookie season, he was targeted 25 times in the red zone. And I don't understand why Arthur Smith decreased his role last season, where he clearly can do it because he was doing it in his rookie season, but I digress. Hopefully, the brand new head coach and brand new offensive coordinator can find ways and making sure that Kyle Pitts can use his full advantage in the red zone, because he definitely can. But on that note, if you guys lasted this long to the very end of the video, thank you so much for taking your own personal time and day to watch these Falcon content videos. At the end of the day, I am just a couch potato warrior, but love the Atlanta Falcons. If you guys like these type of videos, here's some selections over here for you guys for your entertainment. So what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.